Welcome please to the JVG podcast, where these G's are gonna spread their seeds of knowledge about the league. It's flourishing with these. These funny catchers seem to be well read, esteemed and honest. Like the man himself, Jeff Van Gundy. They are high IQ, so cerebral and funny. So if you're on the bus, just border on the dunny. Listen to the
JVG NBA Tribute Show.
Hello and welcome to episode 95 of the Jeff Van Gundy Tribute Show, the show about the NBA. Starring your two favourite co-hosts, Marco and my good friend over here, Lucas.
Yep, it's Lucas, joined always by Marco. I'm not doing the intro this week. I don't know.
Wow! You got a bit comfortable there, didn't you?
I got a bit awkward as well. Shout out to any listeners in Canberra who are listening in another room.
There we go. There it is. You know who you are.
But we don't.
We really don't. Lucas, anything interesting happened to you? Like, I don't know, last night or something like that?
About my basketball?
Yeah, sure.
I played 3 games last night.
Crazy.
I had a back-to-back, and then I had a game break, and then I had another game. I got a bit sick in the head between game 2 and 3. I was like, I'm already gonna be wrecked for really long.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna push myself as hard as I can in the third game.
Uh-huh.
And I was in the front line of the zone, and I was pressing up like pretty high. And I was like defending really hard, and I was like running the break more than usual actually. And we actually also had a session on Sunday that went for 3 hours. We were playing like full court 5-on-5 for about 3 hours.
Damn.
And I backed it up the next day with 3 games, and I actually feel kind of fine. Like I thought that I would be exhausted because going into the triple header last night, I was dead. And then coming out of it this morning, I feel like seriously completely fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess exercise is good for you, right?
Sure.
Was there a drop off from game 1 to 3, like a shooting slump, like?
I want to go ahead and say no. I hit 2 threes in each game, which was pretty cool, and I felt pretty good about it. And it does take me back to last week, and it just recontextualizes how good 6 threes and a half is.
It really does.
Then that has to be my best game.
Yeah, for sure. But me and Ned were talking about
Me?
We were talking about you, as we often do. Only good things this time. That there might be some sort of like one night at Collingwood College 3-point record that you could potentially break if you ever play 3 games. You know, like there's only so many 3-pointers you can sink in one game, and there's only so many games you can sink in like Collingwood College over one evening.
Oh my God!
I thought 2 was the limit, but I guess 3 is the new. 3 is the new 2.
3 is the new 2, as they say. I reckon I could do 4 if I had a week to plan.
Wow.
You want to taper. You don't want to do nothing the day before.
Yeah.
You want to get about 40 minutes of shots
Yeah,
up.
it's like a competitive eating competition. You want to have your second biggest day of basketball. Day before.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon I could do 4. If you give me the 7:15, the 8, that sets me up well. And then you give me the 9:30, and then I'm sorry to future me or whoever's doing this competition.
You're going to have to take the 10:15.
You're going to have to take the 10:15.
Right.
But you're going to want that 10:15 against 4. So you're going to really bank on the other team having 4 players.
Right. But under the perfect conditions, you're saying that this could be possible.
Yes.
Wow. Well, it's funny you bring up conditions like this, because that actually segues perfectly to our next segment.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to explain to our unenlightened listeners?
So, me and Marco were talking one time, and we were like, "Why don't we?" You know that thing where it's like, they could do it, but could they do it on a wet brown night in Stoke? We were like, "What other weather conditions would affect an NBA game or a basketball game?"
Right.
And
even though that idiom isn't referring to basketball.
Yeah, but it's sports.
No, I'm on your side.
And yeah, we put it into the social media. We said, give us some super specific weather conditions.
Only a few hours ago, might I add. I'm quite impressed by the response.
I'm delighted by the response.
You know, like, remember that time we asked you all to share your favourite sporting memories several days in advance, and a couple of you pulled through. A
couple of you were like in the process of pulling through.
Yeah.
And then like backed out, and then a couple of you don't have Instagram.
whoever you are.
Well, it would have been Harry, he could have had the best stories.
Oh, yeah, God. Would he have recorded a voice memo, though?
No.
He doesn't strike me as a voice memo sort of guy.
No, I reckon he would like send a written message or in English, unlike Seamus, or or he would have come on before he would have sent an audio recording.
Yeah. Man, we should have Harry on.
Yeah, we really should.
Like, just even to talk about how great his basketball career is. But I mean, I'm getting sidetracked here.
Yeah.
Much like
over at the JVG Tribute Show.
Read the first one. There's got anything to do with getting sidetracked.
Well, on the side of the track at Stoke Arena is the Stoke soccer
Stoke
court.
Arena. Oh my God! It's like you don't even know. Fuck, what's the Stoke? Just keep talking. It's a Bet365 stadium.
So we asked social media, or more specifically, I feel like I have already qualified this, but the subreddit for super specific weather conditions, and we're going to just rattle off a few, and we're going to see how the Eastern Conference finalists would do in these conditions. All outdoor, of course.
Yeah.
So the first one is from Bendigazor Bust _BATG. Top of 14 degrees. Current temp of 9. Feels like 7. 30 to 40 millimeters of rainfall. Stoke. So we are still in Stoke for this one.
I mean, yeah, this is a real sludgy game. And unfortunately, I think Marcus Smart is really he's gonna have a field day here on both ends of the court. You know? He's gonna be just picking up scraps. He's gonna be locking players down. I do think this is one where Bam Adebayo stands tall though. You know, like the rain. Nothing really beats that guy down. Like, he's just going to be playing his game no matter what's going on. I'd see the Jays struggling here a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? I think a current temp of 9. That's probably what Jason Tatum was worried about when he was drafted by the Boston Celtics and not the Phoenix Suns. I think the Heat would come on top though, but Marcus Smart he'd have a blinder.
Yeah, I think you've nailed the Boston side of things. I think Jimmy Butler would, as an underdog fetishizer, he would love these conditions. I actually think both of these teams would love the slog, and I reckon there would not be that much of a difference in final scores.
Yeah.
From if they were to play in quote unquote perfect conditions in a basketball court.
But it's gonna be a lot of Al Horford pick and rolls, not a lot of Jason Tatum deep threes. He's not gonna be in his rhythm with it feels like 7 outside.
Yeah. I'm really not that quick right now, but I'm trying to make a gag about feels like 7.
Right.
Whereas I don't know what it would be.
Jason Tatum, 23, but feels like 19.
Yeah.
Karl Malone. Wait, no.
It is a top of 14.
Oh my God.
How do you reckon the fans in Stoke would... Or, actually, let me rephrase that. How do you reckon these egotistic Americans would cop a Stoke-based fan base?
My God. I think the Miami fans would crumble in the face of English football fans. I think Boston fans sadly might be the most English football fans. They're hooligans, They're fucking they have a working class ego about themselves and everything. And so I think we get a great punch on. Or they'd have to cordon off the Boston fans for 2 hours after the game because the Stoke fans are waiting outside with broken bottles. And
have I told you about the one time I went and saw a soccer game?
Yeah, I think so, but go again.
Oh, it's too long of a story right now. But what I was gonna say is, so you're saying you reckon Game 1 goes to Boston?
I was gonna say Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thanks for the suggestion. Bendigazor Bust _BATG. That is, of course, Beauty and the Geek. We're on to, oh my God, Xenogene or Bust _BATG.
Wow, the Beauty and the Geek fandom's really found a second win in the JVG subreddit.
Yeah, which was my plan all along. So here we have a bit more, this is a bit more qualitative. This is a bit more of a story. This is a bit more take me there. And we love both of these suggestions so far. I'm not putting one above the other. But Breeze, so I'm so sorry, Xenogene on Bust _BATG. Let me start again. Breeze so absent that the tumbleweed remains stationary and throwing grass up before a kick is pointless. In conjunction with an atmosphere that feels like a Finnish sauna minus the fatigue.
Just want to note, finish is spelled with one N.
And when this game does finish, who's on top? Who you got? ECF game 1 in a Finnish sauna minus the fatigue.
Man, I reckon Grant Williams goes off in this game. Like, he's just got perfect shooting conditions, and he goes like 8 of 12 or something like that. Because they're always open with Grant Williams.
I hate that we're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals and the first shooter that comes up is Grant Williams.
Yeah. Well, Game 7, Grant Williams. But I think in the Heat, Miami are just going to deal a bit better with that. I think
it's in the name.
Yeah. Oh God, I literally didn't make that connection. Yeah, I think not too many variables. They're just gonna, they're gonna be the Heat. They're gonna create the breeze. They're gonna put the shooters off, and then with just that little bit of extra sweatiness, that's gonna tip them over the edge.
So I reckon Boston could go one of two ways, but the Heat would go one way. With like such still conditions, I reckon you're seeing minutes with Hero, Strus, and Duncan all on the court.
I was gonna say
and
Duncan's
just
gonna have
fucking
a game.
laying them up. No, sorry, not the complete opposite. racking them and stacking them from downtown without fail. Like Jimmy dribble penetration kick out, Bam dribble penetration kick out, and just threes on threes on threes.
I like that.
Boston will either like miss their first couple and then get in their heads because Jimmy and Duncan. Fucked all of this up. But Tyler and Duncan, they've hit 3 in a row. Marcus Smart has taken 3 in a row. He's missed all of them because that's what Marcus Smart does. And then the rest of the team is like, well, fuck, we're not making any threes. And then like fucking Peyton Pritchard comes on first off the bench. He starts missing his threes. Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, they're still hitting their threes.
Damn.
Or Boston hits their threes.
Which is very possible, actually.
Yeah, that is the other avenue for Boston.
Yeah, that's Peyton Pritchard weather as well. I think Peyton Pritchard would love to play in Miami. Actually, I think he's got an East Coast underdog sort of feel to him, as well as white supremacist.
An underdog white supremacist. That is representation. So who takes this game then?
I still think Miami takes.
I think the safe bet is Miami. I think safe bet is Miami.
Yeah.
How do you reckon the West would go in these conditions?
Steph would thrive.
Yeah, I think Luke would be okay.
Yeah.
Next we have from Why Cook When You Can Create, and that's the number 8 instead of ATE at the end of create.
We do have a character limit on now.
Now I want you to take this one, but the question is, can they do it in a saucy night in Gosford?
So, the Central Coast Mariners, one of the premier originating teams in the A-League, I think once champions, once premiers, I want to say. Maybe they even won the first one. But yeah, they're from Gosford. It's like a tiny, tiny seaside town. And it's meant to service like that whole Central Coast area. But yeah, they're a bit of they're a scrappy club. They're always threatening to dissolve or finishing last. But their stadium, I want to show you a photo of their stadium. So the Central Coast Stadium is it only has 3 stands and one
oh my god,
one end of the pitch.
That is so lovely.
Is palm trees, the beach, and then the bay.
That is so lovely.
Yeah, it's just by all accounts an awesome place to watch a football match.
Yeah.
But nowhere has only 3 stands anymore. That's it's like a VFL ground or something like that. I'd go. Yeah, 100%.
I'm sold.
100%. But perhaps the most iconic thing about the Central Coast Mariners is their sponsorship by Master Foods, and of course their shirts are mustard yellow, and their mascots are these giant Master Foods sauce bottles. So a tomato sauce, a barbecue sauce, and a mustard, and they're just dancing at the end of the pitch. And so the iconic, you know when you have the intro, it's here another night in Portland, and it goes over the river or whatever. It's it comes in on the stadium, and you got the palm trees, and you got the water, and then you got the 2 sauce bottles dancing in the foreground. So a saucy night in Gosford. What do you think, Lucas, from that image I've just painted you?
So, not really a weather condition, but I'm imagining just like sauces flying, just all around the court, all game, and it's all about who can keep a level head. Jimmy Butler can keep a level head. Kyle Lowry can deflect it all with his big booty, just slap away all the sauce flying. And I reckon the Celtics get a little bit overwhelmed. I reckon JT is not built for that.
No, and like Central Coast as well. They're an underdog club. They don't quite have the success of the Miami Heat, but like they're the sort of club that they would love going 2-0 down. You know,
right.
They love the comeback. And they love. Who's the guy? Is Cum Dog playing for them now?
Oh.
Yeah. Who? There's just this Australian footballer called Jason Cummings, and he nicknamed himself the Cum Dog.
Why?
And he's playing for the Central Coast Mariners.
Oh my god!
He became like a bit of a cult hero over in Scotland, I think. Or maybe he was playing in some league, and they were just like, he's just this like larrikin Aussie like hard cunt. Who calls himself the Cum Dog.
Who would he best represent or replicate in the NBA?
I think PJ Tucker.
Who is a Miami Heat?
Exactly right.
Damn, at this point it's 3-0 Miami.
I know. Well, series over. We know, the winner of game 3. How often do they come to win game series?
The numbers always back the winner somehow.
I just realised we've actually got 4. We've got 7 options. Wow.
Yeah.
You're a smart boy, aren't you?
All right. Well, the next one off the subreddit is from getting fucked in the and their conditions are.
Fucking hell, man.
There's a dank feeling in the air as a light drizzle falls over the nation's capital. 9 degrees with a gentle northerly blowing from the Goldie. Essendon is kicking to the left of screen. Now, let me just say that last sentence was not in it, but it does read like an AFL Premiership 2006.
It does.
Intro to the game, and funnily enough, that is also what's his name? Dominic Committee. Who's that old?
Dominic Committee. Dennis Committee.
Dennis Committee. That was also his handle in our subreddit before it moved to the new subreddit.
Wow, he is a larrikin, isn't he?
So, take me through the geography of this one a bit more, because you're a bit puzzled. It befuddled your mind.
It did befuddle my mind a little bit. So, they're saying that we're in the nation's capital, and, I have to assume they mean Canberra.
For its second shout out of the episode.
Of course.
And you know how hard the sea get up.
The milk. And the other conditions you're describing sound very Canberra-like. But then there's a gentle northerly blowing from the Goldie. And technically, I guess a north wind could come all the way up from Queensland through New South Wales down to Canberra. But I wouldn't really say it's blowing from the Gold Coast,
Also, by that distance, it would be a hot wind.
Yeah.
It would be a hot wind.
Well, it's funny you say that. Well, because that, in winter, which I'm assuming we're playing in winter if it's 9 degrees outside, it would still be a pretty cold wind.
Yeah.
Canberra gets cold as shit. Canberra gets down to -1, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I'm imagining this court as well as like on Parliament Lawn.
Right. Yeah.
So let's set that as well.
No, I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon on a windy game, outdoor, of course, these are all outdoor. I reckon PJ Tucker is like low-key splashing.
Yeah, right.
Something about that just makes sense, that he would be like, he'd find where the wind was coming from and just shoot with it behind him all game long. But I think the wind would affect Boston, and not from a shooting standpoint as much this time as an experience standpoint.
Right.
It would take them too long to get to the rack. They would just keep shooting, JT is like, okay, well, we got here by me shooting threes. By, the game plan is when you get the open three, take it. And they'd probably do that until like halftime, halfway through the second quarter. But Miami very early on would be like, all right, let's get to the cup. These are obviously the conditions. You need to be able to adapt. And these are obviously what the conditions are calling for.
Yeah. No, I'd have to agree. I think Miami, they're just showing they're a conditions team. I don't think this one would affect Boston as much as the others though. Like it's cold. There's a light drizzle. You're in a dreary little town. It sounds like Boston to me. You know, like
True.
It does sound like New England up there. I don't know where the gentle northerlies blowing from in Boston, but
Maine.
yes, the Gold Coast, the United States. But yeah, I think it's an interior. It would be an interior game for sure. And
Yeah.
Miami would come up on top.
Fuck, they've already. They've
Damn,
swept
sweet.
them.
Not even a gentleman.
What would be happening in the West?
Well, I think Steph would thrive.
I think Luka would be fine in these
Yeah,
conditions as
yeah,
well.
me too.
Also, a saucy night in Gosford.
Oh yeah,
Steph would be splashing.
Steph would just be. I mean, he'd be dipping those nuggets. To be honest.
Yeah,
I ain't
what?
talking about Denver.
It'd be a blowout. Next one is from Italian Wog, spelt Wog with 2 G's. When it's 20 degrees, but it feels like 23, so you can wear jeans. So you can wear jeans and a jumper, but never sweat when you exert minimal energy. Plus, clouds, but not that watery feeling of a possible rain. So pretty good conditions. You can wear slacks and not sweat.
This is Jason Tatum's game.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
This is like. I don't think he has this ad yet, but he's whatever sponsorship, it's gonna be him like in his street clothes with AirPods in, and he's listening to some like slightly hypey up rap song, and then he just starts like fucking like between the legs, like dunking on no one, like and then it's for like I don't know dental floss or something like that. So yeah, I think Jason Tatum when he's comfy, when he's in his zone, like he'll just absolutely thrive.
Yeah. After a 4-0 sweep, Game 5 Tatum is out to play.
Yeah,
I think
saving it for Game 5.
Yeah, it's just been an absolute slog for the. You know what? I think with Boston's D, they find a way to nut out one of those first 4 games.
Right.
And yeah, the conditions finally break, and they stave off like a 35 piece from Tyler.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's Tyler weather as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves wearing his sweater.
Oh my god! And that outfit Chuck wore, that Tyler wore. But yeah, I think this one definitely goes to Boston. And I think, honestly, Jimmy and Bam have been, and PJ even, have been so used to these, like, quite dreary conditions. And they've been loving the slop. They eat the slop up. And they maybe got a bit dependent on it.
Right.
And they were playing to the conditions.
Wow, okay.
And they,
I like that.
It's like a tolerance. They built up a tolerance, I guess.
Yeah.
They built up a dependence. I've already said
Right.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's call it, for argument's sake, 3-2 Boston.
Right.
And for argument's sake, how would the West look in these conditions?
You know what? I think Luka is just gonna absolutely go off.
Yeah, he does love the steal, as does Steph.
Yeah.
2 shooters. Yeah, they'd be fine. Next is from Dementor Sympathizer, and that's Dementor spelt with no E before the, or O before the last R. And Sympathizer spelt with a ZR finish. And it's a foggy, dementor-filled morning at Mary Park. Now, how familiar are you with Mary Park?
How familiar are you with Dementors?
Oh my god. So funny.
Is like at Northcote High? Yeah.
This is in Northcote High.
Yeah, so they're pretty nice courts there.
Yeah. But a foggy, dementor-filled morning is not for the faint of heart.
No. And, I've been racking my brains, like, which player on these two teams has the least... Well, one, who's the most Harry Potter-like? And two, who has, like, the least fear in their heart? Who has, like, the least demons?
Oh god.
Because, like, Jimmy, right? I think Jimmy thinks he's Harry, Like...
Yeah.
But I think there's too many demons. Too much has happened to Jimmy for him to just be fearless in the face of a bloody soul-sucking demented type thing.
But Harry's got demons.
True, that's a really good point. That's like his whole thing, actually.
His parents died in a car crash, and then he was an orphan.
Really affected by the Dementors. That's like the whole plot, because he's got all those awful things.
The question is, who's Sirius? Does Sirius save him from the Dementors? Or is it him in the future? Oh fuck, I'm confused.
Yeah, it's him in the future. Wait, but which one are we talking about?
Well, I'm thinking Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, that's...
By Mary Park in the morning.
Yeah, because that's him. He thinks it's his
dad. Yeah.
And then it's actually him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as someone that walked through Mary Park every day for high school, those winter mornings, my god, icicles on the grass, that is not That is not somewhere you can just walk in and drop 20. That's somewhere for someone that's been there before.
Right.
The Celtics have not been there before.
Right.
The Heat have been there before. And this is looking like it's going to be 4-2 before we even get the possibility to get to Game 7. I reckon Deuce is too chicken to even come to this game.
Right, wow.
And now the question, I think, becomes, how does Jason Tatum go with Deuce at home?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because I would love that if Deuce was not at the game. But how would JT?
Yeah, This is a great question. I think he's got his demons too. You know, I don't even know if he knows the Patronus spell. You know, like I don't know if he's gotten over that. I feel like we haven't seen Tatum like. Now they've made the conference finals. It's like that progression from when they last made the Eastern Conference Finals of like, you know, okay, this is a bit of a disappointing year. Like, is this guy really the guy? Is he as good as everyone says he is? I think that's still weighing on his mind as he goes into Game 6 of Merrick Park, you know? Maybe that's enough for the Dementors to just take him out of the game.
Suck his soul out.
Exactly.
I think the issue with Boston is that they don't have a Hermione.
Right.
Whereas...
Who's the Hermione?
Kyle Lowry.
Oh, that's
knows
so
the
nice.
game.
That's
knows
so
the
nice.
fucking game.
Yeah.
Are they going to make a mistake? No. What are they limited by at Prisoner of Azkaban? They've only been at school for 3 years.
Right.
But this is the end of Prisoner of Azkaban, where it's been established that, spoiler alert, Hermione has that time thing.
Dude!
Hermione has that time
Yeah, and she's doing
turner.
all the classes twice and everything
Yeah,
like that.
so that's a bit off. Let's say it's how smart Hermione is at the end of the second movie.
Yes,
not book.
Yes.
But with the experience and the just ability to not make mistakes
Right.
as Kyle Lowry.
Do you think, is Al Horford Hagrid?
I think Al Horford's cancelled. Al Horford might be Hagrid.
Yeah.
I think he has to be, like, leading the kids.
Exactly. And he always does something you don't expect, you know? You're like, damn, this guy, there's a lot more going on with this guy than just the big old half giant who loves animals. Like, he could drop 30 on your head, actually.
Who's Filch?
Oh my god. Who's Filch?
I reckon Spo might be Professor McGonagall.
Right. I was going to say Peyton Pritchard's probably Malfoy.
Fair. Some roles write themselves.
Yeah.
Life imitates art.
Duncan Robinson, bit of Neville Longbottom to him.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, you know, he's going to come good. He's going to come good.
Gabe
eventually.
Vincent, Seamus Finnegan. What are you good at, and why are you complaining?
My mom's a witch, my dad's a monk. Bit of a shock when he found out. Like a basketball joke.
Alright, well let's call it 3-3.
This segment has gone so long.
For argument's sake, and let's go. Last one. Well, first of all, how do you reckon Game 6 is going in the West?
Can Steph is fine.
Yeah, Luke is good. And then Game 7 from I Have Tits. Cold, wet, and windy like Saturday afternoon in July at a soccer pitch in Faulkner.
This feels fair, you know. This feels like where all fights should be fought. You know, a cold, woggy afternoon in Faulkner. Like, you know, when you play any sport, you go to so many different grounds, pitches, and they're all different conditions. They're all different like qualities. This is like the median, you know.
Okay.
Like Faulkner, I'm thinking it's I can't remember what the the soccer pitch is called there, but it's pretty good. They've got like a nice clubhouse.
Yeah.
But it's not like they have hundreds of thousands of dollars to pour into the club. And you know, cold, wet, and windy Saturday afternoon. It makes everyone equals. This is the game where everyone faces off as equals, and I think the Miami Heat win.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's just keep it at quick hitters. I'm sorry to who asked this question that we can't give this on the attention that we gave the last one. But I'm going to say Miami, and I reckon Steph and Luka might have a good one. So there you have it. Miami takes the Eastern Conference Finals.
Damn. Is that your actual prediction?
Well, let's get on to that, why don't we?
Oh man, well, so now we're hitting the 29th minute mark.
No.
We can finally talk about these damn playoffs. I'm glad we kept it tight at the end there.
So just keep your head up and keep moving forward. Hold W, big dog.
So, look, I thought perhaps before we get to the conference finals and what we're predicting, what we're seeing is going to happen, maybe we could have a bit of a post-mortem of each series.
Yeah.
And what better place to start than with the deadest corpse of them all, than the Phoenix Suns.
My God. So Marco asked, what should they do next? Or what should they do now? Not necessarily off-season moves. I'm saying they should take a week or two off and not hang out for a while. They don't have to stop playing basketball. They just need some space. And no one in the club, in the organization, should be in contact for a week or two.
Yeah. In preparing to watch Game 7, as a member of the basketball commentariat, of course, you have to be like, what happens if Phoenix loses? Like, what am I going to say? Like, before you know the result, you're already thinking about what you're going to say. And I love this Phoenix team. I love the way they've... I'll use like. I like this Phoenix team. I like the way they've built themselves. I like Chris Paul for better or for worse. The role players are fun. They play a fun brand of basketball. There were obvious problems before this Game 7, maybe Chris Paul needs to take a couple more shots. Hey, maybe Mikal Bridges kind of had like a dud 14 games. But then after Game 7, it's just like, that was honestly one of the most pathetic performances I've ever seen. And it's not even, hey, give Dallas props. They played really well and they shut down the Suns. You can't perform like that in a Game 7. You honestly there's some serious thinking they have to do. And I don't think the answer is immediately obvious. Like, you're right. They just need to go away and just reconsider why they played like that in a fucking closeout playoffs game.
It's a really bad way to try and retain DeAndre Ayton. Another really bad way is to not extend him in the first place when there are like 5 centers better than him in the league. Probably not even. Chris Paul went into the half with 1 point. And he came out of the game, I think, with 11. It honestly doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But I think it's just such a bad way to finish. And they had a bad series. But this game by itself, I feel like the reaction is probably an overreaction. The immediate reaction by everyone is probably an overreaction. But I don't think it's as unfair as other overreactions are.
Yeah.
Because it was just... Like, you're the 1 seed. You made the finals last year. How are you so unprepared to go against... I'm going to say Luka's 23. How are you so unprepared to go against a 23-year-old who is just ready to beat you?
Yeah. And not even that. It's just the lack of effort they showed, They knew after Game 6, like, it's not like Dallas really changed, especially their defensive schematics after Game 6, right? Like, Booker knew he was going to get doubled constantly. And he just fucking threw his hands up and looked frustrated on every single defensive possession. But then there was no like, all right, I'm just going to go and get a bucket and get this done. Which is, I just think like the top 25 players in the NBA, they should be able to get the ball and just get a bucket. Like 3 or 4 times a game at the minimum. And there was no, oh shit, we're 30 points down. Luka has scored the same amount of points as our entire team at halftime. Like, let's just go get a couple of buckets.
Yeah.
It was like, there was like 2 minutes left in the first quarter and they'd given up. And it's insane. It's Game 7. Like, when you're down 25 points in Game 7, you need to keep playing.
Yeah.
And you need to like adjust and you need to like put in more effort. And there was none of that. It was like they were playing at this same like low gear just all game long.
Do you reckon the Suns could bounce back, get like a 3 seed ring like the Bucks did?
100%.
Like they went, first, third, and then won, and then finally won.
I wanted to say to your point, like, it's an overreaction. I hate this thing of like, oh, they made the finals last year and then they've had this like really disappointing performance now. I mean, and like we'll talk about the Bucks in a bit. And then it's discredits everything they did last year, and it's like the Suns from like the bubble until the Pelicans series were like one of the best basketball teams
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know? Like, they really looked at the regular season, like, both this year and last year, they looked unstoppable. And they were so good in the playoffs. Like, they only lost in the finals because a better team beat them. And,
Yeah.
like, a really, really good team with just, like, an unreal superstar just at the peak of his career. So, to go, like, oh, wow, that was, like, a fraud playoff run. And then that was a fraud, like, 61-21 season that they just had. It's completely stupid. But then, on the other hand, something needs to be examined here.
Yeah. I feel like Booker, well, I think, was maybe rushed back and playing with an injury. And I think that CP3, like, spent everything in those games that he was out in the Pelicans series.
Yeah.
And that maybe they just need to get right. Because if they were to start, I feel like that was the reason they lost. It was because they weren't fully healthy. And they came up against a really good team that also they've just got it. They clicked defensively at like the perfect time, the Mavericks.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, maybe that's part of it. Maybe the Suns have been on this trajectory for like, 170 games?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, they've kind of run out of gas, like at the finish line. Worst place to run out of gas, actually, at the finish line. But nevertheless, it's less of a like, this system isn't working, this player isn't working, more of a like, all right, everything wasn't lining up at the right time when you're coming up against a team that, I mean, yeah, like Boston and Dallas are in the same situation where it's like they hit their stride about halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And that's like helped them carry it into the playoffs.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great point. Let's move on to let's finish the losers first though.
Yeah. But
well,
just wait. Last thing I want to say about Phoenix. Oh, two things. Man, we're gonna run out of time. Genuinely, the genuine things they can do is like, I think those role players were maybe playing a bit above their strength in last year's playoffs. Like,
right.
I think Cam Johnson, maybe even Jay Crowder and Mikal Bridges were all just like playing the best basketball of their career, and they're not always going to be playing that all at the same time. So I do think you have to look at that.
Yeah.
I think probably let's upgrade campaign. If you're going to make one move in the offseason, do that.
Yeah.
Secondly, is Ayton gone? Like,
that's a worry,
because that would just be so sad to watch this Phoenix team like actually dissolve in like a 5-day stretch.
I like that possibility from the like fuck you ownership perspective. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? What are you doing? I also like the gotta upgrade campaign to a player that can do it by themselves a bit. I feel like campaign is dependent on like CP3's guidance, and also he's just tiny.
Yeah.
Maybe another creator. Maybe like I think another creator, because that was what we were saying last year. Is like, what do the Suns want? It's like, Cam Johnson needs to be able to get to the cup a couple times. Mikal Bridges needs to get to the ring. No, not Jay Crowder. I've already said that. That's the point I made in the first episode. But maybe another player that can like create their own shot. Maybe they don't need another facilitator, but another scorer.
But even like, if CP3 and or Devin Booker go to the bench and you just have someone who can make Cam Johnson and Landry Shamet and Mikal Bridges, if he's on the floor, like make their shots better, like give them better shots. Because campaign was just not providing that at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. I thought of something that I thought was funny. Campaign, Cam Johnson, and Clam Chowder instead of Jay Crowder. I thought that was a bit
nice,
funny.
dude.
Who else got knocked out in the West? The Grizzlies.
Jeez, those guys.
My God. After everything everyone said about them. Well, my only note here is that they should downsize and turn 3 or 2 into 1. Get like another borderline all-star. Or get a borderline all-star to go with their all-star. That's kind of my only note. They're ahead of where they should have been.
Yeah, 100%. And I think my advice, because I've been around the NBA a long time.
Solicited.
Is just learn from this. Like, don't add this to the collection of chips on your shoulder. Look at this series against the Warriors and this playoffs more generally, and be like, okay, don't just be like, wow, we did this right, give us our respect. Be like, what did we do wrong? And what can we do better next time? Because, well, I mean, first of all, your end of game coaching, that needs to be improved on.
Yeah.
And I hope they go and they watch the tape of that Jaren Jackson Jr. possession a couple of times and be like, right, what else could we have done? It's probably about 8 different things we could have done in this situation. Yeah. But don't go away from this season being like, we're the dogs.
Yeah.
Give us our respect. Actually try and think about how you can improve on it next year. Because, damn, you're the second seed in the West and your ceiling is, there's still so much room between where you are and your ceiling.
Yeah.
As a franchise, as a player with Ja Morant, and as a franchise as the Memphis Grizzlies.
But like the ceiling they have going into next season versus the ceiling they had this season, my God, I wish like if that was the Wizards, my God, would I be happy?
Oh my Lord! If only we got the second pick in.
The Sixers should trade Harden.
Yeah. Okay. Man, this is so hard. I feel so bad. I'm starting to feel bad for Philly. Like, they've had so many opportunities to like create a championship winning roster, and I don't know if they've always made the wrong decision, but the decisions they've made have always ended up being wrong. Yeah. You know, like this James Harden trade, it's absolutely the right decision to trade Ben Simmons for James Harden. But if this is a James Harden you're getting, and you have to extend him over the summer, that's not a good result in the slightest. But I don't know if you trade him, because I don't know what you trade him for. Like, I think he is actually a good complementary piece to Embiid. I think he just needs to, be in shape, play with some heart, and I think they need to be coached differently. I don't think Doc is a bad coach, but I don't think he knows how to maximize Maxey, Embiid, and Harden as like an offensive trio. Like he hasn't. You don't look at their offensive sets and go like, wow, he's getting the most out of all of them. Like he's not turning Harden into that like full facilitator Harden that he needs to be. And there's too many ISOs for like all three of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah, what do you get for Harden? But I feel like you might have to like quote unquote lose that trade.
Yeah.
You know, down skill. Because it's not just like what he does is getting worse. It's what he doesn't do is hurting you so much. And you got to find a player or players that can fill a role where what they don't do doesn't hurt you as much as what Harden doesn't do hurts them. Way too many double, triple, and quadruple negatives in that. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Less liabilities. But then, the Harden trade options, I mean, I would fucking hate to have him at Washington. He wouldn't even pull us into the playoffs like Wizards legend Russell Westbrook did. But yeah, I think that theoretically, Philly is the perfect team for Harden, but like, it's enough with like theoretically and on paper. It's like, what are you actually doing?
Yeah. You know what would be a funny shout that I've just thought of? Harden to the Pelicans.
Would you want that?
No.
Who would you trade?
If you did like a straight CJ for Harden, I reckon we could make it work.
I think you could make it work as well. Like, you got enough youth ready to just sprint around him.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he'd slot, not perfectly, but he'd slot into that CJ McCollum role. You know, like he can play point guard, but his shooting guard is Brandon Ingram, like someone with more energy and more sort of more vigor to create their own shot than Harden has. Yeah. And so he can really just sit back and take threes and like facilitate for Zion and Ingram and even Valanciunas, like you know. Valanciunas Harden pick and roll. It wouldn't be pretty, but it could work.
It'd get results.
We could get something out of that.
I think the only issue for you guys with trading CJ would be that I think
we definitely shouldn't do this.
Yeah, his leadership has kind of set the foundation of why you even made the play. 1-2 games in the first round.
Yeah, exactly. But against a bum team, so
Phoenix bums.
I had one more thing on Philly. So we often talk about what would happen if that Kawhi shot rimmed out in Game 7 in 2019. A lot, obviously. But what if that off-season, Philly keep Jimmy, trade Ben Simmons for... I had a quick look at the trade market. It would be something like Malcolm Brogdon or D'Angelo Russell, or there was another point guard out there. Maybe it was Mike Conley. They're not the most attractive trio. Obviously, at the time, you get lambasted for trading Ben Simmons so early in his career before he's really fucked everything up.
Yeah.
But you then maintain that chemistry between Jimmy and Embiid, and we know how good that is.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen?
They'd win a ring.
Yeah.
Simmons was not an issue until he stopped developing, because it was like his first couple years, his numbers didn't change, but he just got so much better, and his decision making is crazy good, and his defensively he got so much better, and he just was like a man at 22. But if you had a trio of, it's not even a trio at that point. It's the duo of Jimmy and Embiid, and then honestly, not D'Angelo Russell, but Conley or Brogdon would be sick as a facilitator, because then they would just be the point guard.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be like this trio thing. It would be like, you're our steady point guard, and then we have these two superstars. I reckon they could have beat the Bucks last year in the East, and the season before that was the season it happened. No.
The season before was Miami. So Miami wouldn't have Jimmy Butler.
Oh, fucking. and then you have Jimmy still makes the finals. Jimmy and Embiid on LeBron.
And Embiid beat LeBron.
And AD. Fuck. Now that's a what if.
I mean, yeah, it's basically if Bam was Embiid, he probably gets injured as well.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. I completely cooked it. I was like, oh my god. I did it as Embiid joins the Heat.
Right. Well, that's another option, I guess. I don't know why Philly would do that. Actually, I like that. When I was looking at like what point guards were traded, and it was Brogdon and Conley, and I was like, eh. But I think they're good. Like they don't need the ball in their hands constantly. They're both like sufficient passes. They're both like plus defenders, and they both can shoot the 3-pointer. So that's probably all you need.
You want to know what I was thinking about today that's a little bit related to what we're talking about? LeBron's old teams. I know he swore we weren't going to talk about him right now, but
he is him.
His ex-teams, Cleveland and Miami. Miami's in the ECF. Cleveland is like in a really good position. And it's like the narrative is, and it's true, but he just decimated the teams. But if you're run by the right people, they can rebuild it.
Yeah.
Like, so even further evidence for why you should hemorrhage everything for...
for LeBron James.
No, for a ring. For the chance at a ring.
Yeah, if you're... I mean, this is the thing with the Lakers more... here we go. The Lakers more generally, right, is they're so well financed and they can get whatever player they like that, like, it covers up how badly managed they are.
Yeah.
And that, like, if they weren't the Lakers and there were any other franchise who had the hangover from having superstars, like, they would just bottom out and turn into the Sacramento Kings or something like that. Whereas, like, obviously Miami, one of the supposedly best run organizations in the league, is always going to bounce back from that. I mean, did they miss the playoffs once? Yeah.
And then they came back with like Josh Richardson, D Wade.
Yeah.
Wow, a really random team.
Yeah. Yeah, it is random.
Justice Winslow playing like big minutes.
And it's the same coach, he is stuck around.
Mr. Elstra. First name Spo, last name Elstra.
Yeah, and he could be, he's a touch away from his sixth finals appearance.
There it is.
Damn.
Sorry, Bo just got in. I got a little bit sidetracked. But the last team that got kicked out, the Bucks.
I think this is pretty simple. On one hand, no Chris Middleton has such an impact. Their offense just didn't have any punch. And, like, it had no punch.
Yeah.
That last game where their big men hit 4 of their threes and their guards hit none. Notice a guard did not hit a single 3 all game long. And this is like Drew Holiday, a good 3-point shooter, and then like 4 dudes who are meant to be like elite 3-point shooters.
The floor spaces.
Yeah, that like some white guys who are meant to be putting up 45%.
Yeah.
And I think the takeaway for me is like, yes, Chris Middleton would have helped them so much in this series, but like they need a bit more in their offense outside of their 2-3 guys next year. And I don't think there was really anything wrong with that finals squad, but you did watch some of those games in the playoffs last year, and you're like, fuck, what is this Bucks team? Like they're out defending the other team, but they're not scoring a lot, and they're not playing pretty. So I think the reason they lost was, as we were discussing last week, like their defense actually downgraded, personnel wise, and obviously injuries didn't help that. But they need one more punchy character next year. I think like they just need they need an actual scoring guard or something off the bench.
Well, that flows into my what next to the Bucks perfectly. They need more options in personnel, and I think they need to look at their closing 5 because, and also, no, sorry, let me top end it with Middleton was out, and that makes such a difference. Yeah. And then. Yeah, they need to look at their closing 5. Like, what options do they want? Do they want to have the option to play Giannis at the 5 and then go out and get, like, a steadier guard? Are they happy to keep going with, like, Lopez as the 5 in their closing 5? Or do they want the option of, like, a rim-running, agile big that can also defend? Like a Larry Sanders shout-out. So, yeah, I just think, their closing 5... Because Drew Middleton Giannis is a great place to start.
Yes. It's probably one of the best.
Yeah. But then it does become a bit of a clinch. You're giving up a lot by putting Bobby Portis on the court.
Yeah.
You're giving up a lot by putting Brook Lopez on the court. If they're fallen, Grayson Allen's an okay option. But still, he's very exploitable. Pat Connaughton, same deal. George Hill, very old. Like, they're not... There's no, like... These are all decisions you have to make. There's no, like, player that's going to make the decision for you. Like, I'm the 4th player in the closing 5. Or I'm the 5th player in the closing 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this, out of all the teams that lost, no, probably Philly and Memphis more so. So third out of all the teams that lost, and they came up against a really good team who knew how to play them. Like, Boston really knew how to play the Bucks in this series.
Yeah.
And they did such a good job of it. And I don't want that to take away. I don't want what I've just said about the Bucks to take away from that the most out of everything I've said about these franchises. Like, I feel like if they ran it back next year, they could very well win the championship if things went right for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, should we move on to the teams that did win those series?
The finalists, if you will.
Yep, the finalists, if you will. I am happy with who wins the ring this year.
Yeah.
No matter who it is.
There are 4 incredibly deserving teams. There's two sort of like veteran dynastic teams here in Miami and the Warriors. Obviously the Warriors are a little bit more dynastic than Miami. But if the Warriors win a ring, it's like, of course you did. Yeah. It would be that nice. It would be that nice sort of like after party for Steph and the gang. It's like you've been gone for a few hours, but now you're back with the bloody case under your arm. Don't let anyone in here. And then with Miami, like we wanted that team to win a ring against the Lakers. Like, we did want that, and I think it will mean so much for everyone in this team, and they're just so deserving of it. But then in the other corner, we have these 2 young teams who, as we said, sort of reinvented themselves halfway through the year, or got into their stride with a new coach, and they're just so good, and they're just playing their best basketball. And this might be, sometimes it's that thing where you play your best basketball in the first 60 games or something like that, like we sort of saw with the Chicago Bulls. Yeah. And if you're going to hit that when you're in the NBA Finals, that's so much fun. Yeah. Like, if you're playing your best ball then, that's just going to be the funnest thing to watch.
The Celtics have given me the same vibe that the Chicago Sky gave me in last year's WNBA playoffs, where they just they hit their stride at the right time, and they just peaked throughout the entire playoffs. And Boston started a bit earlier, but even if they were to start their decline now, there's no way in 14 games time at the very max they're like trash.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're still in the habit of playing really well. I also think they're still on the way up. And if I had to pick a winner, I really want to pick Miami, but I just think it's more realistic to pick Boston to come out of the East.
Damn.
But yeah, I got four story arcs that I'd love to go through after you chime in here for a little bit about who like the story to like from each team for why they should win a ring.
Yeah. Well, now I just want to hear that.
Okay, well, Boston, I actually don't want them to win.
Right.
Only because of the fans, and not like the Sam Reeves of the world. The fans that go to the games fucking suck.
Yes.
Low key, don't want them there. High key, also they just don't fucking know anything about basketball. But I love it from the Udoka angle because first of all, I picked him for Coach of the Year this year, and the team started off so slowly, and everyone was questioning the ability for Brown and Tatum to if they can coexist, and they just turned it around. And yeah, they've been on this arc, and they're playing so well as a team, and I'd be so happy for Udoka. The Miami angle, because of all of their players they employ other than Gabe Vincent, and I like Spo winning a ring with a completely different core from 10 years ago. Also, the Udon angle, being a 4-time champion over a 16-year career with the same team, 06 and then the back-to-back and then this year. That's just fun. You gotta like that.
Yeah.
Warriors, like an abridged / surprise version of The Last Dance. Also, if they win the ring, I'm betting that they miss the playoffs next season.
Wow.
Just being so run down and cooked. But if they can win, Steph, Clay, and Dre can win in their first opportunity since the last time they were all healthy, then the what-if ability would be so good.
My God.
It would make us content for the next 100 episodes. The next 95.
Insane.
And then also they'd get another top 10 pick. And then Dallas, much like upstart Slovenia, have Luka Doncic. But if he can win a ring, like, he gets drafted into the league and then he's like, oh, this guy's going to be a future MVP. But to win a ring before he's even a finalist for the MVP, it would be like the first time someone's earned that, like, superstar, like, earned their superstardom before, I guess, we just gave it to them. Or, like, we like...
What about Dwayne Wade? That'd be the only one who I would think of.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I feel like... And, like, it's very harsh what I'm saying to, like, every other superstar that's ever been in the NBA. But I just mean it's so unique to be at 23, leading your own basketball team, and you're supposed to be the future of the league. But before your future even starts, you've won a ring.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I think with Luka, the narrative's been so interesting the last 2 years. Because at the end of 2019-20, it was like, that was his second year in the league. Like, let's just like marinate on that for a moment. But that was like, all right, okay, he's an all-star, he's an all-NBA. Obviously, like the Mavs, they lost in the first round. They're not good enough yet, but that's fine because this kid got next. He's gonna for sure win the MVP next year. Who didn't have Luka as their MVP pick going into that season? Everyone had him, and then that year it was like, well, these things actually take a little bit longer, Like, it takes a little bit longer to turn into, like, a superstar caliber player. And I took the bait there. I was like, Luka's probably not going to win an MVP until, like, Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid are a little bit older. And he's, like, the team isn't good enough to, like, go far in the playoffs, blah, 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 blah. And then, I think since the Porzingis trade in particular, that whole narrative has just been completely uprooted. And it's like, this guy's... if he goes into next season and he's playing like this and the Mavs are like winning games, then for sure he is just blowing that top 3 best players that we've been so hot on for like the last 2 months. Like he's slotting right in there. Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like, oh, Luka is like right next under them. It would be like he's one of the 4 best players in the league right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be insane for them to win it. I think especially they feel like the darkest horse out of this 4 as well. Where it's like obviously they had a really good season, but nobody was really thinking about it until like the playoffs basically.
Yeah. Yeah. They broke at the right time.
Yeah.
I also think if the Mavs win the ring, that Luka is probably like the MVP narrative will be there for him all of next year.
Yeah.
If they're like a 5 seed, like a
Yeah.
50-win 5 seed, and he averages like career lows, like 24, 8, and 8.
He'll still be top 3.
I reckon. But yeah, I just think that I'm gonna be. There's 3 teams I'm gonna be really happy if they win, and if the Celtics win, there's an element of it that I like.
Yeah, definitely. Man, there's so much to talk about with Luka. As this, like at the beginning of these playoffs, looking at his insane numbers when he went down with the injury, and it was like, oh shit, like, fuck, do the Jazz win this series? And it was like, oh, well, Michael Jordan, he got knocked out of the first round his first 3 years in the league, and he averaged like 36 points while doing it. Luka Doncic might be about to win the ring in his 3rd year in the league, while averaging 36 points like across his playoff career.
Crazy.
So it's setting. I mean, yeah, obviously, if you win a ring as the star of a team when you're 23, you're already setting expectations on your career pretty high. But that's going to set them like sky high. I won't utter the words, but like the ceiling for his career is as high as anyone's ever, basically. Then.
His averages for elimination games going into the last one were 39, 9 and 10 or 39, 10 and 9. They dropped.
Yeah.
They after that performance, the numbers got worse, which is fucking crazy, because that was like full on statement and a half. Like, it has to be the most accomplished. How do I word this? But like, that half has to be the most impactful of his career.
Yeah.
And it happened in a game that was below average.
Far out. What did he? So he had 27.5. What did he finish on? Was it like
35?
So, like, everybody knew that game was over at halftime, but so did he.
Yeah, like the only thing stopping him from getting 50 was how well he played.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, let's not injure the greatest player of all time. Tongue in cheek.
Well, should we do like some quick predictions? What do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say Warriors and Celtics.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say Warriors and Heat.
I think I'm rooting for Mavs Heat.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting Warriors Celtics.
I think obviously any of these finals are going to be great. I would love to see the Mavs win purely to see how those 2 Eastern Conference teams defend Luka, because like I think defending Luka isn't really on the cards for the Warriors.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It's obviously they will try and build a defensive system to limit him a bit, but I think like the Heat and Boston both have very genuine chances of being like, put this guy on him and then put this guy on him and put this guy on him and see how they can each limit him, Like, wouldn't you love to watch a whole quarter of Jimmy just, guarding the shit out of Luka and then going at him on the other end?
Yeah.
Like, final style.
Yeah. I feel like this is kind of one of those times you want to play checkers, not chess.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I watch the Warriors play, it's like they're defending an offensive system.
Yeah.
Whereas the Celtics and the Heat are so happy to just be like, let's stop Luka.
Yeah.
Let's put everything in that basket.
Yeah.
All of our eggs in the Luka basket. But I'm really hoping to get like 40 possessions of Draymond v Luka.
Oh yeah, true. Oh yeah, it's just about to happen as well.
Yeah.
We're talking about these guys in the East, and it's like, no, one of the best defenders in the league is about to go up against him.
Is that game tomorrow?
No, that's on
Oh my god, dude, the conference finals are starting.
Yeah.
10:30 Celtics Heat. That is like the worst possible time for productivity.
Oh man.
11.
And I got the best day off tomorrow.
Oh God.
Yeah. Wow, well, if you guys aren't watching the NBA playoffs anymore, this is a perfect time to start. This is reaching the end of this episode. Turn on your TV or, open the NBA for League Pass out.
Don't sound so disinterested. Make them whole words.
Cornflakes. Anything else you'd like to add, Lucas?
No, I don't think so.
Lucas Donkey Breath? Alright, well, I'll speak to you next week.
See ya.